This story contains graphic details of a real-life crime. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Some images and descriptions may be disturbing to some audiences.
This is Beyond the Evidence. Tonight we cross the thin line between light and shadow to tell a story that began behind fluorescent motel signs and ended in a single brutal silence. Subscribe for more chilling true crime stories, and if you value the truth, stay with us until the end. Houston, November 4, 2015. A city that breathes heat by day and hums with neon at night. Behind one nondescript building in the 7500 block of Bel Air Boulevard, a life that had already carried more than its share of pain was extinguished. 20-year-old Shelbey Thornburgh was found dead in her apartment, a wound to the neck. A scene that offered more questions than answers, and a surveillance tape that would haunt investigators for years. The footage shows a man who wears sunglasses at night, moving with the calm certainty of someone who knows exactly what he's doing. No forced entry, no obvious robbery, no frantic struggle captured on camera. And yet, a young woman was gone. In this episode, we go beyond what the headlines told you. We'll lift corners other storytellers have left untouched. The shadows around her childhood, the people who loved her, the evidence that didn't fit, and the theory that keeps investigators awake. Shelbey Jean Thornburgh was born August 18, 1995, in Fort Worth, Texas. Her early life was fractured parental instability, spells in foster care, and a childhood shaped by absence and survival. These are not excuses, but they are context. The way the world can push someone toward choices made in the hush of necessity. She carried dreams, a hope of becoming a model, a desire for stability, but life kept steering her to darker roads until she found herself working in Houston's adult service scene. By 2015, Shelbey lived at the Conquistador Apartments, Unit 3B. She had been arrested previously for solicitation and was walking the precarious line between trying to build a better future and surviving in the moment. Her manager, known publicly as Mark, arranged clients and supported her in some ways, moving her between apartments based on where business was better and sometimes where safety was worse. That evening in November was meant to be another scheduled meeting. Instead, it became a doorway to a nightmare. At approximately 8:33 p.m., Shelbey received a text. "I'm here." A minute later, surveillance footage shows a man entering the lobby, sunglasses on, wearing a light long-sleeved shirt and cargo pants. He walked with a steady, purposeful pace, climbed the stairs, and then about 23 minutes later walked out. When Mark checked on Shelbey after not hearing the usual "job done" message, he opened the door and found her face down, bleeding, unresponsive. He called 911. Police noted the absence of forced entry and little sign of a struggle. The autopsy revealed a single devastating wound to the neck, a decisive, targeted injury. Investigators described the attack as quick and professional, suggesting someone who delivered a powerful, precise blow and left with composure, clothes unruffled, sunglasses still in place. The practical question haunted detectives. Who could enter, kill, and exit without leaving a trace? The apartment yielded frustratingly few leads. No obvious theft, no fingerprints that led to an ID, and no clear defensive wounds on Shelbey that would indicate a lengthy struggle. Investigators found foreign hair fibers on the body, dark, short hairs that did not match Shelbey's fair, long hair. Samples were entered into CODIS and other databases and turned up empty. The trace evidence suggested a perpetrator who either knew how to avoid DNA transfer or who simply hadn't been arrested before. Watch the lobby footage frame by frame and you notice oddities. Sunglasses worn at night, a calm gait, no haste. The man's posture is almost clinical. He isn't the type who struggles. He is the type who plans. That image, anonymous and composed, is the face that refuses to be forgotten. It's also the face that has kept the case within the community's imagination. Viewers online have enhanced and re-examined every pixel, searching for a thread to pull. Over the years, three major theories have dominated discussion. 1. A targeted hit, the idea that Shelbey may have been an informant and was silenced. 2. Mark, the manager, suspicious because he moved her and was the person who found her. And 3. A serial predator, a man who sought petite, blonde women working in the same city corridors. Law enforcement leaned toward the serial killer theory. The FBI reviewed the case, and investigators noted parallels that suggested a practiced offender with a very specific victim profile. Some in Shelbey's circle believed she might have cooperated with police against criminal elements in the area. If true, a vengeance-minded network could have ordered a hit disguised as a client. This theory explains the single, clinical wound and the silence that followed. But it relies on facts the public can't confirm: undercover operations, sealed records, and witnesses who might still be too scared to speak. Investigators publicly rejected that link to larger sting operations. Family members and activists remained skeptical and occasionally vocal. People asked, why move Shelbey to a more dangerous complex? Why did Mark not know the client's name? Why was he the one to discover her body? Those questions stirred suspicion. Investigators interviewed and cleared Mark after checks turned up no evidence tying him to the act. But suspicion is an echo. It lingers where answers do not. For the family and for anyone who watched the case unfold, suspicion never entirely faded. Law enforcement's strongest line of inquiry was chilling in its simplicity: a serial predator who targeted small, blonde women in the sex work circuit. Such offenders are often patient, practiced, and careful, traits that fit the CCTV image and the surgical nature of the wound. Shelbey's name even appears in lists and discussions linking several similar unsolved homicides. For many investigators, the serial killer theory offered the most consistent explanation for the available facts. For months the trail grew cold. Surveillance from the Walmart where the burner phone was purchased had already been recorded by the time police requested it. DNA samples, though collected, did not match entries in Cody's. In essence, two powerful modern tools, video and DNA, provided tantalizing clues but no identification. The case therefore became a study in near misses. Evidence present, but not yet useful enough to name the man in sunglasses. Shelbey's sister, Christina, became a relentless voice for her sister, sharing details on a Facebook page and pushing for attention. Independent creators and podcasters, including Gavin Fish, amplified the case, enhanced footage, interviewed family, and encouraged public tips. Crime Stoppers pages continued to list Shelbey's case, asking for anyone with information to come forward. Those public efforts are not theater. They are lifelines for a family that wants answers. On forums and in comment threads, amateur sleuths have examined every frame. Some claim to see distinctive clothing, a limp, a tattoo. Others are more cautious. The problem with online detective work is twofold. It can yield useful tips, but it can also spin dangerous false accusations. Still, it's another vector of attention. After years of relative quiet, renewed coverage often sparks fresh leads. If only a few of those leads are solid, sooner or later someone might break the case. Public reporting and official releases indicate that the HPD Homicide Unit and the FBI investigated and treated the case seriously, but no public arrest has followed. Evidence remains: surveillance video, trace hairs, and the bitter fact of a life taken. The hair test didn't return a Cody's hit, and as of the latest public updates, the case remains unsolved. That does not mean it will always remain so. Advances in genetic genealogy and renewed institutional attention have solved cold cases before. If funding and wills align, that route remains open. This is where we stop treating Shelbey as a file and start acknowledging a human being who had loves, losses, and dreams. She was a sister, someone who tried to protect and be protected. Her story is not just a spectacle for clicks. It is an urgent, living grief for the people who knew and loved her. When we talk about victims, we must be careful to hold their dignity at every turn. If you have any information, a detail about that night, a memory of seeing someone in the area, or anything else, contact Crime Stoppers of Houston or the HPD Homicide Unit. Cold cases crack when someone steps forward. The web of truth sometimes starts with a single thread. We may never see the face behind those sunglasses in daylight. But time is not always an enemy. Advances in DNA technology, combined with public attention and the persistence of people like Christina and independent journalists, mean the door isn't closed. For now, the city keeps its secret. For now, we watch the footage again and again, searching. For now, we remember Shelbey as a person, not a case number. If you found this episode important, subscribe to Beyond the Evidence. We publish deep investigative stories and forgotten cases every week. Share this video to keep the light on cases like Shelbey's, and if you have a tip, please use the official channels listed in the description. From all of us here, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep searching beyond the evidence.